doctors are saying that the number of young people suffering silent strokes is on the rise in South Africa. Of course, we heard Thokozani Ndlovu, known as Lvovo, was hospitalized after suffering a minor stroke following a performance, and Mampintsha, whose real name is Mandla Maphumulo, died on Christmas Day after suffering a stroke at the age of 40. We're going to discuss this further. We're joined by George Scola, who's a stroke survivor and founder of Stroke Survivors Foundation. I hope that we have a better line at this time. George, how we started our conversation was, the fact that, you had a stroke at the age of 37, and I said that it was, relatively young. Talk to us about that particular experience and how that changed your life.
Yes, it was a bit of a surprise to me. I think effectively it changes your path that I was on. And that happens in literally in seconds. So my entire dynamic changed. Within 8 months of being discharged from hospital, I ended up being divorced. I lost my business.
Yeah.
So my entire life changed. And finding support post-discharge, that's the hard part. It's very difficult to come across that these days, and that's what we're doing here at the foundation. We're trying to improve that, and the dissemination of information about how do you cope, and not only the stroke survivor, but their families, because the impact of my stroke, my family had to pick up the pieces. So it is happening more and more. We've seen particularly in the past 3 years since COVID, because I think financial pressures have put pressure on people.
Yeah.
And it's just it's so easy for people to say lifestyle choices and exercise and nutrition, but that all costs money. It's so easy to say lifestyle choices and eat a healthier diet when you can afford it.
Yeah.
But when money's tight, you don't have many choices.
And I mean, I'm sure
it does become very difficult.
Yeah, and I'm sure, George, you've heard, it must be quite infuriating for someone like you. You must have heard some of the conspiracy theories. I mean, I do take a look at some of what is being said on social media about, what is going on. And, some of the conspiracy theories would be things like, people are perhaps using drugs or, all sorts of things. I mean, you mentioned one about lifestyle choices, for instance. What do you make of some of the things that people are saying are at the root cause of strokes, when you've pointed out that it must actually even be some of the stress, that we're having to face, really?
Yeah, lifestyle choices, you talk about diet and nutrition, you talk about exercise, cholesterol, alcohol. Yes, all of those factors add up and can contribute to a stroke. But hypertension is a big one.
Yeah.
And if you think about it in a very simple way, a stroke is it's a brain injury. So the same way you could injure your foot is the same way you can injure your brain. So, if it's just it can happen so easily.
Yeah.
And that's what the message that's got to get out there. It doesn't matter your age, your race, your gender. It doesn't discriminate. Anyone can have a stroke, any age. And
sure.
The youngest I met so far is 12 years old.
Yeah.
So,
George,
reality.
talk to us about some of the warning signs, if any. I mean, you say that, it happens in seconds, really. So one wonders if, one can even, pay attention to some sort of warning signs that would be preceding a stroke. Is there any information that perhaps you can give our viewers this afternoon?
Yes, that's good. So what needs to be made clear is that 80% of strokes can be prevented. But the following slide is maximum, known as fast, stands for prevalence, for the as your eyesight become blurry.
All right. We do apologize for cutting out of this interview. We are losing George's audio there, but that was indeed George Scola, a stroke survivor and founder of Stroke Survivors Foundation.